Now, Manchester United face West Ham live on Sky Sports tomorrow night. Ahead of that game, we can hear from their head coach, Ruben Amorim.
Had done an investigation around social media posts on a specific weekend, the game against Tottenham. I think, given the extreme reactions that you get to defeat and victory at this club and every other club, it's not a surprise to know that managers, yourself, Premier League managers, women's managers, get a lot of this abuse. Could you just explain from your perspective how you deal with that and what that feels like and how you think about dealing with that in terms of your family as well?
First of all, nowadays is normal in any profession. When you are exposed like we are exposed, it's harder. But I don't read it. I'm not fake it. I don't read it. I protect myself. Everything that I don't watch TV when they are talking about Manchester. Not because I don't agree. Most of the times I agree with a lot of things that you say, guys. But it's a way of me being healthy. Because it's enough when we lose, when we draw, when I know that we play bad, my feeling as a coach is enough. I don't need another feelings about around the club. So for me, the only way, there is no other way. The only way is protect myself. Of course, I lose money in sponsors, in Instagram. I could win a lot of money. But for me, the quality of life, the protection of my family, the way I can live a normal life, because I guarantee you I live a normal life, is not worth it. Some more dollars or pounds is not worth it. So I protect myself, and no one can be tougher than me when we lose and when we lose when we don't play well. So that is the only way. But it's normal nowadays. It's really normal to have that abuse. So that's, for me, it's the only way to survive in this world.
Hi, Ruben. We've seen Matheus Cunha is in training. I presume he's fit for tomorrow. And what's the rest of the squad looking like?
We have 2 doubts for the game. I will not tell you today because we'll change the way we are going to approach. Let's see if they can play tomorrow. But the rest of the squad is good. Matheus is back, but I have 2 players that maybe they cannot play. Harry Maguire is still out.
And Sesko.
And Sesko, yes.
Just on Matheus Cunha, obviously this was a frustrating setback. What have you made of his start, and how many more levels has he got to go?
I think he has more levels to go. He's in a different club, different pressure, but I think he coped with that really well. He was struggling because he was not scoring, and because of social media abuse, he was thinking too much about the numbers, but the influence that he has in the team is so important for us. But I think Cunha has so much to grow defensively and offensively.
Hi, Ruben. Lenny looked a bit upset when he came off on Sunday. Just wondered, first of all, how is he? But then also saw Mason Mount after the game comfort him a little bit. So what does that also say about the culture and maybe how close the group are becoming?
It's really important. Of course, I also spoke with him because he thinks too much. He makes some mistakes in the game and then he struggles because he's too young and he wants to do everything so well. And he's growing. He's growing in one moment that everyone here is growing with games, with setbacks. So it's not easy for him as a young guy. Of course, he cannot give that to the people, the way he came to the bench. So he understands that, but he was really frustrated. On the good side, he shows that he cares, and he was knowing that it was not the best game, but he did some things well, and I show him that also. So he's fit and ready for the next challenge.
I know we've asked you a few times about Shea Lacey, and it seems like he could be getting closer potentially to a debut. You've talked a lot about the players playing for Manchester United, the pressure it comes with. Just wonder, how ready do you think he is for that kind of limelight, and how do you prepare young players for that attention that they'll receive once they start playing in the first?
First of all, trying to explain every day how to play, because if you are comfortable in the way, you have no many doubts when you are playing. That will help the kids to play. Then is to work the physicality, to understand that when he's training with us, give him time with us, to understand that the speed of the pressure, the moment to have the ball, to pass the ball is completely different if you compare to under 21. So that is the only way that I know how to prepare a kid to play for the club, especially for this club. So we'll have to go there to have the chance. I don't know when, but is ready to play.
Ruben, the next challenge is West Ham, and Nuno has recently gone in there. What have you made of what he's done and the changes he's made, and what kind of challenge do you face?
I had no doubts that he would have success, no matter what the club. He is really experienced. He knows how to work with different squads. He understands really well the league, and that is a plus when you are a manager. We know that he's going to be tough. He's really smart preparing the games, understanding the environment of the game, who has more responsibility, all these things around the game. Is really good on that. But I expect I'm just more focused. Of course, the preparation is about the opponent, but I'm really focused on what we need to do, what we need to improve, especially if you look at our first half against Crystal Palace. So it's going to be a tough match.
Can I ask you about Diogo, his role in the team this season? Him is playing in your squad. What's he bringing to you? What can he do better?
I think he can do a lot of things like other players better. I think when you see a very good game of Diogo, he can show that he has the quality, and sometimes it drops a little bit. But if you look at our team, everyone is a little bit like that. He's really powerful. He's good on set pieces, and you have to understand that in this league is really important. He can play both sides. It depends on what you want, the system that you are going to face, and to have that ability of playing both sides, changing position during the game, that can help you also to think about the squad for the league. So it's one player. He's international, always playing for National League. So it's a very important player for us.
Right, how excited are you to see How excited are you to see Cole Palmer?
So excited. I think we all are. We've just been waiting for him to return, and as good as our results have been and as good as some of those performances have been, you can't say that Cole Palmer's not missing in that team, especially in that 10 row. As Jay said, nobody does it like Cole Palmer, and of course we've seen João Pedro there, but I think he's struggled and part of his game has been limited by Cole Palmer's absence. So actually him returning, I think, will elevate João Pedro's game because they can link up. We're dying to see that partnership with Esteval, of course, out on the right. That could be really, really special. So actually Cole Palmer is that glue that really just lines up the whole attack.
Well, with Palmer, do you know that without him, your win rate is actually better in the Premier League? Now, you can see that as a negative towards Cole Palmer, or you could see it as a positive, that other players are stepping up and it shows that you've got the strength in depth.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good way to look at it because we were called Cole Palmer FC not long ago when he was doing all the work up front. But actually now there's goals coming across the front line. We're getting more winger output as well, which is great. But I think actually that's just a great thing. But I think what you will notice is the chance creation in terms of creativity in that 10 role is slightly limited. I think especially like losing the ball in those positions sometimes because João Pedro is quite slow sometimes. So I certainly think that results have been great without him, but that creativity and that spark you don't get it from anyone else like Cole Palmer, and I think we're just going to be so happy to see him in that lineup tonight, hopefully.
Nina, do you know what I think? To be honest, I agree with a lot of what you said, but I think the reason why that percentage was that percentage is because Chelsea at periods wasn't playing with the kind of confidence they're playing with now. So they would look at Palmer because obviously he was lighting it up, he was getting goals, he was getting assists. I feel like now there's more balance within the squad, like you said there. For me, Neto's probably been the best player this season. He's been unbelievable. He plays on both wings. I'm a bit disappointed though, and I want to know what you think. Why Esteval doesn't play more? Everyone talks about his age, but I think that's irrelevant. I would really like to know what you think as to why Esteval doesn't play a lot more, because he can play on both wings and as a 10.
Yeah, I think, Jay, you're right. We want to see so much more of Esteval. I think Maresca's been quite careful in terms of managing his minutes. He is 18 years old after all, and coming across the whole world, you know, settling into the Premier League, one of the most difficult leagues, quite physical. I think he's just been quite careful with that, but actually it's worked quite well for him because he's often been in that sort of super sub character, which has done wonders for him because he's come on, he plays against tired legs, he takes on his man, and he's just so explosive and very technical as well. But actually we do want to see him start. I think he is ready. What he has shown to us, perhaps maybe not so much in the Arsenal game. I think he struggled in those opening minutes, but even still, he was up there. He has the confidence. He backs himself to do it, and that's exactly what you need, especially against Leeds tonight. You're looking at playing maybe a team that might sit back. You need those players that will unlock defenders, that will find those pockets, make those runs. So actually, he's ready, and I think now with Cole Palmer returning, maybe that'll be that extra level of support there he needs in a player like Palmer, who is so secure in his role, very confident, knows exactly what it means to play for Chelsea. I think that could be a very maybe key partnership. So maybe Maresca's been waiting for Cole Palmer to return to show him the ropes and ease him into those starting spots.
Do you think that Chelsea need like a more experienced player, like a ready player that's experienced to come into this team? Because I think the only reason why Chelsea, they're in the title contention for sure, but I think the only reason why they wouldn't win it is because they don't have that experience going through the spine. The Chelsea teams I remember, and the most successful teams, they always have more experienced players, and Chelsea are just very young at the moment.
Yeah, you're right, and I think we missed that leadership in the back line. I think specifically towards the start, especially of the season, you know, when Thiago Silva left, I said we never quite replaced the leadership and just the qualities in the player that he was for us. He was able to tie everyone in defence. I think why half of our defenders looked so promising was because they were playing alongside a Thiago Silva. So actually, a lot of these young players have really just had to learn on the job, just sort of, you know, pull their socks up, get on with it. But it's so much easier when you have that leadership, as you say there, Jay, to be losing in a game or be behind in a result and have someone that can just say, right, you know, pull your socks up and play for this result. So it's been difficult, but I'd say to that, we have slowly been turning these youngsters into a little bit more experienced players. You know, you look at the likes of Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, someone who's really grown into his leadership role as a captain as well. Pedro Neto, as you mentioned, someone who has also become a lot more experienced, and he's been in the Premier League. He's been around now for some time. So actually, you're looking at these players, of course, Reece James as well, who is arguably our most experienced player, and they're forming their own experience. So I think that's probably a positive, and this is actually what the whole Chelsea project, if I can say, is about. These young players just becoming these better versions, so hopefully one day they can be those legends, as you say, and they can leave Chelsea having been those experienced players, or turning into them rather.
But the project, I mean, you as a Chelsea fan, a project lasts only so long, then you want to see results, right? And I feel like it's getting to that point. You spent a whole heap of money on this squad. It's no longer, oh, they're young. There can be no excuses now. You have to go and win something. It's not just a case of, oh, we want to see these. We want to see the. Pardon?
There you go, Tom. You said it.
Majors. Chelsea are not judged on, you know, domestic cups. They're judged on majors, and I feel like you're almost there. Another few additions, and it's going to be a real talking point. Again, one question I would like to ask you, because there was a lot of stick from Chelsea fans and a lot of criticism coming from pretty much everyone about Sanchez. What are you feeling about Sanchez now? Would you want to sign another keeper, or do you trust him now?
Yeah, I have to say there's been a lot of criticism from my behalf on the way to Sanchez there, so I have to hold my hands up and say I need to give him his flowers because he deserves them this season. I think he's a completely different goalkeeper from the one we saw last season. I think the thing with Sanchez is he's a great shot stopper, and we'd seen it, but the inconsistencies of doing the very basics like ball distribution or not keeping it simple sometimes when we play out the back is what made us Chelsea fans so nervous. But now he's getting it right. I think he looks a bit more confident. I think his cross collection has become brilliant, and actually you saw it against Arsenal. One of their biggest threats from crosses, he was nullifying that quite comfortably in the air. So I think with Sanchez is just stay consistent, and we can actually really believe that he is our number one. We don't really have it. You might look at our books and say we've got 10 goalkeepers there, but Sanchez is number one, and he has got that experience. So he's here to stay, hopefully, and I just hope he can maintain that consistency, because he's got it now. He's on a good run. Keep it up. That's all it is with Sanchez.
Who's your number one striker though? Because the number 9 is important. And so far, I know Delap's been out, and he's been injured, then he's come back and got suspended. Who is your number 9? Because you need one. You need one in order to win the title. You need someone that's going to win, score 15 Premier League goals, 20 Premier League goals. Was it a mistake letting Jackson go? I feel like Chelsea need to address that situation as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about a striker for the longest time. I think coming in off the back of this summer with probably Liam Delap and João Pedro as the sort of out-and-out number 9s. I think Maresca said that João Pedro can play a 10 and he's not maybe a sort of, natural striker there. But I personally would favour Liam Delap over him. I think I'd start him tonight. Actually, you need that sort of bulldozer that he is, sort of collect the ball in one-on-one opportunity. He's quite good. That opportunity that João Pedro just really overthought against Arsenal, where he was one-on-one with the keeper, if you guys remember, he didn't take that. Liam Delap does that. He's a bit more of a killer in the box, and I think that you certainly need that profile there. So I think we're yet to see more of Delap. He's been out, but I think we're patient with him. Hopefully he can be that guy, but I'm not missing Nicholas Jackson right now.
I'll tell you one thing, Nina, I'm going to get you excited, because I genuinely think if Kane comes back to the Premier League, I think it will be to Chelsea.
Really? Do you think?
I genuinely think it will. Yeah, I think it will, because he's that type of player that would fit Chelsea's profile. Experience, he can drop deep, he can spray the ball to the wingers that run in behind him. And obviously,
they sign young
in my
players.
Opinion...
They don't sign young players now.
Yeah,
in my opinion, he's still the best number 9 in the world. He's still the best goal scorer in the world. So I feel like if he does come back to the Premier League, it will be Chelsea.
Well, yeah, you'd be happy to hear that, Nina. In terms of what Enzo Maresca has been saying, he says that, ask me about the title race after December, OK? Why is he saying that rather than now? Just to go through, you've got fixtures in other competitions as well, but in the league, Leeds away, Bournemouth away, Everton at home, Newcastle away, Aston Villa at home and Bournemouth at home. That makes up your December. In the Premier League, that's not including the League Cup away at Cardiff and the Champions League away at Atalanta. Why isn't he saying that they're in a title race now?
Well, just because of that fixture list maybe you just listed there, Tom, it's quite overloaded there in December. But look, I think it's just like what we're doing right now, we are getting the results. I think they need to be a bit more consistent though. In order to be a title challenging team, you need to go on a bit of a run, and I don't mean sort of 2 wins and then back to a draw, then a loss. So I think that needs to improve. We get the opportunity to hopefully do that in December, and I think this is a bit of a make or break. Last year, after this kind of Christmas period, when we were again sort of considered title challengers, we went on a bit of a downturn in results, and actually it looked like a very difficult season to secure top 4. But this season, what I will say is there's a lot more promise with the players we have, the experience, they're sort of gelling together. I think it makes a little bit more sense. The back line is coming together nicely, so I think we're certainly up there and we're pushing the likes of Arsenal. We saw that at the weekend. We're disappointed to walk away with a draw after being a man disadvantaged, so that tells you everything.
You shouldn't be, because they're a better team.
We are. That tells you how ambitious we are. So I think Maresca's not putting the pressure on the players right now to tell them that we are in a title race. It's a good thing as well, though, because it's just December. It's so early on. You're seeing how narrow the point gap is in the Premier League. You win a game, you're into 3rd. You lose a game, you're down to 6th and 7th. So it changes.
Nina, but to be honest, let's be real. Chelsea are not really interested in the League Cup. They're interested in Champions League and Premier League. League Cup, domestic cups, I feel like is the rotation players. They want to go and play them games. Yes, you want to win every game. Yeah, you want to win every trophy you compete in. But ultimately, Chelsea will be focused on the Champions League and the Premier League. FA Cup for them kind of teams. It makes no difference nowadays, Tom. It's historic for us. It's historic for English people, right? But at the end of the day, they are not judged. Maresca is not going to be judged on winning the FA Cup. It's the league and the Premier League.
Yeah. Absolutely, you're spot on there, and I think we've shown in the last year.
Just tell Tom.
I mean, you say that, but we've really been described as a tournament team, and we pretty much have been a tournament team in the last few years because, like you say, we went out, we won a Club World Cup, we won the Conference League, of course, we won the Champions League not long ago, which is obviously that major honour you're talking about. But when it comes to the Premier League, we've really lacked that sort of consistency to be a brilliant team over the course of 38 games. That's what we're now aiming for. I think that's the dream. Well, I love the Champions League. I've been, in my lifetime, I've seen us lift 2, which is brilliant. But I think all of us Chelsea fans are just dying to get our hands on that Premier League title in the next couple years, hopefully, because this is what we've been building. And after the Champions League, we fell off a cliff. Now we're hopefully just trying to get back into that winning way. But yeah, the Premier League is the dream now, absolutely.
Yeah, well, my team won the Papa John's Trophy. You two are able to say that. So thank you, Nina. Great to speak to you.
Thanks, Nina.
Thank you, Tom and Jay. Have a good day. Cheers.
You too.
Mikel Arteta has made it clear that Arsenal will need to unleash their complete player against Bayern Munich. The Gunners host the German champions at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday, and one man in particular could be decisive. Ebereki Eze, described as a very complete player by teammate Mikel Merino, is emerging as one of Arsenal's most dangerous weapons ahead of their Champions League clash with Bayern. The 27-year-old announced himself in North London with a stunning hat-trick in his first derby since arriving in a £67.5 million move from Crystal Palace. His 3 brilliant goals dismantled Tottenham, and truthfully, he could have scored even more. Mourinho believes every one of Arsenal's 8 summer signings has lifted the squad's level, helping the team build a 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League. But Wednesday's matchup is different. Bayern Munich, the reigning Bundesliga champions, represent the toughest test yet for Arteta's side. Speaking after the win over Spurs, Mourinho praised Eze's qualities and hinted at the impact he could have in such a high-stakes European battle. "We've brought in a lot of players who can make a difference. But you can see that other teams have spent big as well," the Spain international said. "Individual brilliance can win matches, sure, but in the end, it's the team that matters. If you have great players who don't connect, that's a problem. The good thing about this group is that everyone thinks about the team first." When asked about Eze specifically, Mourinho didn't hesitate. "I think he's incredibly complete. He can dribble, he can pass, and his technical quality is outstanding. In Spain, we always talk about players who can connect with others. He has that naturally. He grew up with that instinct to link play, move the ball, and build relationships on the pitch. He also has the mindset to get involved, demand the ball, and influence the game. At the same time, he's strong, he can take players on, and he can finish. He's a truly complete signing." Mourinho also touched on how the modern game often reduces players to simple numbers. "These days everyone judges players by goals and assists, that's just how it is. But as footballers, we see the deeper qualities he brings, the technique, the movement, the intelligence. Even in training, you can tell immediately how special he is. Yes, he's scoring goals, but he's much more than that. He's an exceptional player, and we're incredibly lucky to have him. He can play in several positions and adapt to different systems. He's been a huge addition for Arsenal." Beyond the technical qualities, Mourinho believes Eze's attitude, and the healthy competition within the squad, will be crucial in Arsenal's title push. You can hear the calm in Ebereki's voice and see it in the way he carries himself. He's confident, grounded, and every morning we sit together in the sauna at the training ground and talk about everything, he added with a smile. "He's a great guy, already fully integrated, and we need players like him. Competition is fierce. There's so much quality in this squad. That's exactly what the manager wanted, as many top players as possible, all ready to play. It makes his decisions tough, choosing who starts and who doesn't, but it also pushes every one of us to give our best in every session. And that's why we're improving as a team." As Arsenal prepare for Bayern's arrival, Arteta is facing one of the most delicate balancing acts of the season. The squad is healthy, competition is fierce, and expectations have never been higher. But behind the scenes, there is a growing sense that Eze's versatility and calm presence may be essential against a Bayern side known for controlling the tempo in big European nights. Arteta himself has hinted at Eze's importance without naming him directly. After the Tottenham victory, the manager spoke about the need for players who can break pressure, dictate rhythm, and stay composed when the game becomes chaotic. Those inside the club believe those comments were aimed at Eze as much as anyone. The coaching staff has been particularly impressed by how quickly he has adapted to Arsenal's positional play structure, a system that demands far more tactical discipline than what he was used to at Crystal Palace. Analysts at the club point to his growing influence not only in the final third, but also in build-up phases, where his ability to glide past pressure could help Arsenal bypass Bayern's aggressive midfield line. There is also an awareness that Bayern's fullbacks tend to push high, leaving spaces between the lines. Iza's skill set, sharp turns, deceptive acceleration, and precise final balls, could be exactly what Arteta needs to exploit those gaps. Outside the club, pundits have already started circling Wednesday's match as a defining moment for the £67.5 million signing. Some believe that if Iza can impose himself on a Champions League quarter-final against Bayern Munich, it will confirm his arrival among Europe's elite creative players. Former players have echoed that sentiment. Several ex-Arsenal figures, speaking on television over the weekend, highlighted the need for someone who can change the temperature of the match with a moment of calm or an unexpected burst of creativity. Iza, they argued, is one of the few in the squad capable of both. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich come into the match with their own confidence. Their midfield trio has been one of the most dominant in Europe this season, and they have shown a repeated ability to suffocate opponents early. That dynamic is precisely why Arteta may lean on Iza's composure. When the game tightens, Arsenal will need a player capable of slowing it down, protecting the ball, and finding solutions in tight spaces. Within Arsenal's dressing room, Mourinho's praise reflects a broader consensus. Senior players have reportedly been struck by Iza's humility and work ethic, qualities that have helped him integrate seamlessly into a squad that already had strong internal chemistry. Staff members describe him as someone who never forces the game and lets the match come to him, characteristics that could prove invaluable in a high-tension Champions League tie. As kickoff approaches, the narrative surrounding the match has shifted. What began as a test of Arsenal's resilience has quietly become a spotlight on whether Iza can elevate them in Europe the same way he has in the Premier League. For Arteta, the equation is simple. If Arsenal are to overcome Bayern, they will need more than intensity. They will need control. They will need creativity. And increasingly, they will need the completeness Iza brings to every phase of the pitch. Whether he starts in a wide role as a floating midfielder, or even as an interior playmaker, the expectation is the same. Iza will have to find the spaces others cannot, and influence the game in ways that statistics alone will not capture. The stakes are high, the opponent is formidable, and the spotlight is intense. But within the walls of London Coney, the belief is growing that this is exactly the kind of stage Ebereki Iza was signed for. Martin Odegaard is nearing a return to action after suffering a medial collateral ligament injury in Arsenal's 2-0 win over West Ham earlier in October. Yet, 3.5 years after Mikel Arteta named him captain, the Norwegian finds himself in an unfamiliar position. His place in the starting lineup is no longer guaranteed. For the first time since joining the club permanently from Real Madrid in August 2021, there is real debate over whether he remains an automatic choice for Arteta's 11. Odegaard, now 26, has been central to Arsenal's resurgence under Arteta, the conductor who shaped the team's rhythm through some of their most fluid football. But this season, the Gunners have been forced to navigate long stretches without their captain, first due to a shoulder issue that kept him out of 4 matches in September, and then because of a knee collision with West Ham's Crescencio Somerville that sidelined him again. And during his absence, something significant happened. Ebereki Iza stepped into the spotlight. Iza's sensational hat-trick in the North London Derby has complicated the picture. Now thriving in a central role, the England international has given Arsenal a different kind of presence around the edge of the box. A blend of unpredictability, directness, and two-footed confidence that opponents struggle to contain. He may not control games with the same metronomic precision as Odegaard, but he offers a spark, a willingness to take risks at moments when Arsenal need a jolt of creativity. After such a standout performance against Tottenham, it feels almost impossible to imagine Arteta leaving Iza out. The manager has always had a soft spot for players riding a wave of confidence, and Iza is currently surfing at full height. There was a similar situation back in September, when Mikel Merino was handed a start against Manchester City after scoring 4 times in 2 games for Spain, including a hat-trick against Turkey. Arteta doesn't hesitate to reward form. Iza has carried that form onto the international stage as well, recently scoring a stunning goal for England in a 2-0 win over Serbia in the World Cup qualifiers at Wembley. Though he can play on the left, it has always been clear that Arteta brought him to the Emirates to operate in midfield. And with Declan Rice and Martin Zubamendi near untouchable in the double pivot, the odds of Iza and Odegaard consistently starting together seem slim. That leaves Odegaard in an unfamiliar position. He needs minutes to rebuild sharpness, Yet Arsenal's medical team won't rush him. The plan is likely to ease him back through short substitute appearances before restoring him to larger roles. But even once fully fit, Odegaard faces genuine competition, because ease has shifted the landscape. His arrival has raised the team's ceiling, and his performances have earned him the right to keep his place. Before the dismantling of Tottenham, Ease had scored only twice for Arsenal, one against Port Vale in the Carabao Cup and another versus his former club Crystal Palace, a clever finish that sealed victory. Now, with 5 goals across all competitions, he sits just one behind Odegaard's total from last season, when the captain made 45 appearances. Odegaard's 2023-24 numbers were outstanding: 11 goals, 12 assists, influence written across every competition. That is the standard he must match again if he wants to reclaim his spot, because Ease is hungry, confident, and eager to impress ahead of next summer's World Cup. Arteta will insist that Arsenal need both players at their best if they are to meet their ambitions in the months ahead. And with Kai Havertz also working his way back to full fitness, potentially slotting into midfield behind marquee striker Victor Gyökeres, the battle for places has never been fiercer at the Emirates. For Odegaard, the message is clear: he must rise to the challenge. His leadership and quality remain unquestioned, but he can no longer rely on reputation alone. If he embraces the competition and fights his way back into the side, his return could push Arsenal to even greater heights. And if the team has already reached this level without several key figures, the potential for what comes next may be even greater. Inside the club, staff members are quietly acknowledging that Arsenal are entering a new phase, one where no player, not even the captain, is immune to tactical evolution. Arteta has spent the past 2 seasons building a squad capable of sustaining pressure across multiple competitions, and the emergence of Ease is a sign that the manager's long-term planning is beginning to bear fruit. Depth is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. But with depth comes difficult decisions. Arteta has always valued balance in midfield, and the contrasting profiles of Odegaard and Ease force him to reconsider what type of midfield best suits the team's ambitions in Europe and the Premier League. The technical control and spatial awareness that Odegaard brings have defined Arsenal's identity under Arteta. Conversely, Ease's dynamism, physical presence, and unpredictable touches give Arsenal a new dimension, especially against teams that sit deep or defend aggressively in central areas. This internal shift has also caught the attention of analysts and former players. Several pundits have begun to question whether the captaincy should guarantee a place in the lineup, especially at a club with ambitions of challenging for the Champions League. Others argue that Odegaard's leadership is too valuable to sideline, pointing to the standards he sets in training and his influence over younger players. Those debates are already spilling into the media, and they will only intensify as the season progresses. There is also the tactical question of whether Arteta might eventually experiment with a system that accommodates both Ease and Odegaard, something he briefly attempted earlier in the season during the win over West Ham. But with Rice and Zubimendi forming an almost impenetrable midfield pairing, any reshuffle risks destabilizing the defensive structure that has made Arsenal one of the most resilient teams in the league. The manager has hinted that he is open to adjustments, but only if they enhance the team's overall cohesion. For Odegaard himself, the challenge is as much psychological as it is physical. He has worked hard to cultivate an image of calm authority, a leader who raises the level of those around him through clarity and consistency. Now he must show that he can adapt, compete, and respond to adversity. His teammates still speak of him with admiration, describing him as one of the most studious and detail-oriented players at London Coney. They believe that once he regains full rhythm, he will naturally reassert his influence. Yet even they acknowledge that the landscape has shifted. One senior player privately remarked that, "The team is different now, Ease has changed what we can do in the final third." That sentiment reflects not a lack of faith in Odegaard, but an understanding that Arsenal have evolved while he has been sidelined. For Arteta, the ideal scenario is straightforward: a fully fit Odegaard competing with a fully confident Ease, creating a level of internal competition that lifts the entire squad. The manager often speaks about the need for healthy tension among his players, pressure that keeps standards high without fracturing unity. The arrival of Victor Gyökeres, combined with the recovery of Havertz, only amplifies that dynamic. Arsenal's season will almost certainly hinge on these midfield decisions. With Champions League knockout matches approaching and the Premier League title race tightening, Arteta must decide not only who starts, but what kind of identity he wants his team to carry into the defining months of the campaign. The next few weeks will reveal whether Odegaard's return sparks a resurgence or a battle for relevance. If he manages to reclaim his place, It could serve as a reminder of why Arteta trusted him with the armband in the first place. If he struggles, it will underline how rapidly Arsenal are progressing, and how little room there is for sentiment at the highest level. Either way, the captain's response will shape not just his future, but the trajectory of a team that believes it is on the brink of something significant.